Hello, hello. Welcome to a special, I almost said a very special episode again. I always do that. I think I did that last time with
You
I
did.
Steven.
It's okay.
yeah, I'm here to talk about drug abuse.
Oh, man. Uh, well, for audio listeners, I am Alex. We have Ben here, and we also have special guest Steven. So last time Steven was on this podcast, we talked about the Superman movie 2025. We also talked about just DC movies and stuff in general. We feel like we had a good conversation, and we're going to talk about more comic booky type stuff. And so that's why I decided to bring Steven back. I don't know if you guys like Steven. If you did, cool. I hope you did.
I hope so too.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people watched. Actually, that was a semi-successful like episode
Yeah, I think it
compared to
was.
like how it normally is. I think it was kind of, the zeitgeist of like Superman at the time, but then also just I don't know, guests, and like changing the title when you have like a guest or something like tends to just bring people. So I mean, maybe we should just lie from now on and just say like, hey, we have a guest, special guest. I don't know, just like a sock,
Barack Obama.
Oh yeah. Well, oh. Speaking of special guests, I want to say this. So whenever we've created posts for like Facebook or whatever, again, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Blue Sky, all that kind of stuff, Instagram. But when we created stuff, there was one time when we were Ben was experimenting with um the AI, like creating a post, and it read something weird and it said special guest Christopher Reeve was in our episode.
Yeah, I had to fix that pretty quickly. We would have upset some people.
Man, I wish Christopher Reeve was in our episode. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, it's a better joke than I made about Obama. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was just funny because like I get this text from Alex. He's like, "Hey, you need to fix this." I'm like, "Fix what?" And he's like, "You said special guest Christopher Reeve," and I go there. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's a. Are we saving that for Halloween? Because that's not happening right now."
I mean, we might be able to get him. I don't know. Like
Hmm?
when I mean, the rapture already happened, I guess, right? So like, because like we said, where is the Rizzler? We've said that in the past. Where is the Rizzler? So since he was clearly the only person who got raptured. I don't know. Maybe Christopher Reeve's ghost is around here, just
I mean,
chilling.
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We can ask him some questions about Superman and be like, "Did you like your documentary? I thought it was pretty nice." But we're not here to talk about Christopher Reeve necessarily. We're here to talk about anything we want to talk about. This is a holiday episode. This will be coming out probably in December sometime. So you've already listened to a couple other holiday episodes. So thank you for that. Happy holidays. And yeah, so anything that we talk about today is going to be dated because we are pre-recording these. Ben and I like to take a vacation for the holidays, and we do not record anything for the last 2 months of the year. Get that creative juice flowing again. That, and I'm just not around my computer for like a whole month, so I can't even do this even if I wanted to. And so yeah, we'll just be talking about some comic book stuff here today. Primarily, we're going to be talking about like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the state of Marvel, what's doing, what's not doing, how we first get into it, etc., etc. We get to hear Steven rant, so that'd be fun.
yeah,
Steven from the dark shadows, as he's
yes,
seen here,
yeah.
like clearly, like he's just
Yeah.
peeking out.
The
Um,
darkness. The only thing lighting me is my phone, and I guess hate.
yeah, yeah, probably. I mean, we'll see. I mean, depending on how the rants go, like we'll.
It's it's a really milquetoast rant. I don't
Okay.
want to build up this rage, this throbbing vein of they they ruined the characters. It's yeah.
Yeah, they ruined God, what's his name? It was something really stupid when Quicksilver was back and they called him like um what was it in WandaVision? Like when they brought Quicksilver back, and but like he was really just like farts Mc something. Like he had something really
Yeah.
Boner. Something Boner was his name. And it was like, really? Like you just put in a middle finger to us that like this isn't Quicksilver, this will never be Quicksilver, and you just called him like Walter Boner or something like that.
He's dead, idiots.
Yeah.
Quote Disney, I guess.
Bet you did not see that coming. But that's a movie. Yeah, so I'd like to start this off first, since Steven is the special guest. I wanted to start off again, when we might have talked about this on the last episode that you did. What are your relationships with comics, specifically, I guess, with Marvel this time, and as well as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because we're roughly the same age. So with that, you probably have a lot of the same touchstones that I do, but more so with actual comics than I do. I forget, but
lots of cartoons.
Yeah, and lots of cartoons. Yeah, definitely. Where we hear the Human Torch sing a song. I listened to that earlier today because it's so bad. I'm gonna play that later. But anyway, yeah. So what's your relationship with Marvel?
So Marvel, for a very long time, existed to me as the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. And the X-Men cartoon. But I always liked the Spider-Man cartoon more because I liked how it built up to like those big episodes, like the Secret Wars one that was kind of just technically Planet Hulk, if you think about it. Where you have, it's, you get the big reveal episode with Captain America and how that was like this super important thing. And I remember being super excited about it to, everybody at school. They're like, why do you care about Captain America? And it's like, well, obviously he's supposed to be cool. The whole buildup was there.
Yeah, exactly. He's there.
Yeah. It's and then and then right around college, I had a good friend of mine get me into I played a little bit of Marvel vs. Capcom with him because he was a fighting game friend, but mostly he was like, hey, you should start reading comic books. So I picked, I started reading through, I think the first actual like set of trades that I read through was Cable and Deadpool. And then I just kind of had like little pull lists for most of college and a little bit after. A lot of it was DC, just by virtue of like, I tend to like the like kind of one-off darker stories more, your Constantines, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I did have, the Thunderbolts run that included Agent Venom, which was pretty good. At least I've been pulling that for a while. I was keeping up with a different Deadpool run as well because I just genuinely like Deadpool. I'm so sad that he's in the zeitgeist he was for so long. But it's so. And then when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe specifically, I watched every single one in theaters up until Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then I still watched everything that was related to it, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was kind of hard for me at the time because I was in college. I didn't have I couldn't afford to get a streaming service up until Secret Wars. Or wait, was that the TV show or the Disney Plus one?
Invasion.
No. Invasions is what it was.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I pointedly didn't see. And then there was like, and to this point, I think the only thing that I haven't seen is that and Thunderbolts. Not because I don't think it's good, not because I read a Thunderbolts run. I think Ross is a great character, and I think Red Hulk is cool as heck. But it just the rant is Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
because I like Thunderbolts in theory. I like Suicide Squad. Well, not the one movie, but like as a concept.
Yeah.
That's just Thunderbolts. Taking anti-heroes instead of villains, like it works. It makes the formula work pretty well. The problem that I had with Thunderbolts, and I was trying to figure out why I did not want to go see that movie in theaters, which is not usual for me because I love seeing things in theaters. What it came down to was Thunderbolts had the same sort of marketing that the movie Edge of Tomorrow did, which is to say, it did not sell a premise at all. It
Mm-hmm.
just kind of pointed at a few actors, said, look, they're here, and then didn't have any concept for the story at all. When it came out, I heard it was good, like actually quite good, and one of the better Marvel movies that had happened
Yeah.
in a while. Edge of Tomorrow was very good.
Mhm.
Like that movie was a good B plus. Like it
It's
was
even better,
like
honestly, than the manga that it's based on,
that.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
And but it was so poorly marketed and handled that I just had no interest in seeing it until I already knew it was good, and then I just kind of had to go out of my way a little bit to go see it.
they should have. So to hop into that really quick, and then Ben, we'll have you go next. For this is gonna be kind of spoilers, the episode, so just FYI, people. So the big problem with the marketing is that they did this whole thing like on the weekend of when it came out, where they ripped off Thunderbolts, because it was like apostrophe, or not apostrophe, um what do you call it, asterisk Thunderbolts, and then they, or Thunderbolts asterisk, or one of the two, and then they ripped it off and it said New Avengers underneath it, and then the movie theaters and stuff were calling it New Avengers after that point. You should have just marketed it as New Avengers.
Yeah.
You would have gotten
Or
more people. You could have called it Thunderbolts New Avengers. You could have called it something. But I felt like the reason why I heard the movie was really good too, and it just like wasn't marketed well, like you said. But like I think one of the things that killed it for me, I was like, oh, I hear it's actually doing well. And then on their social media, they do this big reveal, I guess, where they spoil it and say it's actually New Avengers and like this and that. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to see this movie in theaters because you lied to me. If you just were straight up like and honest with me and you said that this was New Avengers, I probably actually would have seen this because I heard good enough things about it. I heard it was one of the best Marvel movies in quite a while. And so like, yeah, I probably would have enjoyed it. I still haven't watched it. Like I know a lot of these are on like Disney Plus and stuff now. But I haven't watched a whole I haven't watched that and a couple other recent things lately. But yeah, like, yeah, that was the big gripe for me, was like, marketing, you lied to me and it didn't even build up to anything. Like, if anything, you should just done that in the beginning and then that would have had the hype. So
the reverse would have been better if it had been the New Avengers, Thunderbolts.
yeah,
I would have at least cared more,
Yeah.
because suddenly
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I know Thunderbolts. They're gonna have their Waller type character in Ross, who's
Mhm.
gonna lead it, and they're gonna be they're gonna be kind of anti-heroes and a little bit of
Yeah.
mess. And then you get these, and then you get like pretty good characters that they get to reintroduce, like having Bucky be there,
Yeah.
having US Agent be like
Mhm.
their new Captain America. Like that's all cool. The Florence Poe Black Widow, like I like all of that.
Yeah.
None of that strikes me as bad, but I all of the marketing, I remember seeing it being like, this just seems this there doesn't seem to be a movie that I'm being presented, and I'm frustrated by that.
Yeah, it was just very much just a lot of action scenes, and you'll see it. And it's like, no, we actually didn't see it. So, haha, in your face. But we can rant about that movie for a while. Ben, I'd like to have you have the floor. Talk to us about your experience with Marvel, and where you were at with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, how you started that. Did you start from the beginning, etc., etc.?
Yeah. So I am not a comic book person. Never read the comic books, but grew up as well. 90s Spider-Man, X-Men. You know, I I'm going to show my age. I am definitely older than both of you. I was in high school, so for me, it was kind of like a hidden, like, oh, I'm watching this, because no one back then, it wasn't cool to watch those. But I was watching those, and also grew up with a Sega Genesis, which had a lot of Marvel and games on there. Also, my oldest brother is a giant comic book person. If he's listening, The code word is meatball to make sure you are listening. If not, you get no Christmas from me. But he was really big and like, oh, you should read the comics. I wasn't into that, but I am a movie buff person. So, with that being said, like once they started, like I started off with Iron Man directed by John Favreau. Like for me, that was awesome, right? And then when Disney bought Marvel, I was like, okay, so this is an opportunity for Marvel to now get a blank check to do what they want. Um, they had like a giant up. Like I still think, to me personally, Avengers Endgame is probably my favorite movie of all time. Um, you get that whole scene when everybody's together. It probably costs, I don't even know how many millions to get all these people together. Um, we've had ups and downs. Like I loved Captain Marvel. The Marvels was weird to me. And I did watch Miss Marvel. I had watched at that point, anytime that Marvel was coming out with a TV show, I watched it. And so, but I do feel like they've like either maybe they've just saturated the market, which I feel like when they're like, all right, so we're gonna put in like 12 films, they're all coming out this year. I think that's been a part of it. I did watch, so I am up to date on everything except for Fantastic Four, right? So I did watch Thunderbolts. I thought it was great. I liked it because it wasn't all action, action, action. There's actually a good plot. There's a good story, and that's what I look for in movies. Whether it be high budget, low budget. To this day, one of my favorite movies of all time is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Guy Ritchie, his first film, so much of a budget film, but it's so good. So I like Thunderbolts, but then they have these missteps, or hey, this is coming out, and then you're just like, where's it at? Like we were talking before the podcast, like Blade. They announced it. The actor, and I know Steve and I were talking about this. The actor that got to play Blade is a phenomenal actor, and he when he gets a role, he becomes that role. So I was like stoked, right? Didn't hear anything. We get Deadpool Wolverine, which in my mind was an amazing film, right? We we get the
I did
joke.
like that.
Yeah. So we get the joke in there where Wesley Snipes is there and Deadpool's like, he goes, which Punisher? There's been like 3 or 4 of them, right? And Blade makes the comment that there's only ever been one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade. And Deadpool does the third where he looks in the camera and his eyes get big, knowing that there's no Blade movie. I'm anxious to see because they are at New York Comic Con. Did they put their little chart up of like, hey, here's our movies? Um, I saw the trailer when they showed all the chairs for the new Avengers movie, and I was like, hey, this is cool, but is it going to be a good story? So I guess kind of for me, for Marvel, it's just been like this roller coaster of like, oh, that's really good. Like I liked Thunderbolts. I didn't like Thunderbolts as much as I liked the new Superman, but we could probably do a whole podcast on DC versus Marvel, especially now that James Gunn's over at DC. Um,
That is fair.
yeah. So, but like for me personally, I just I'm just kind of like I sometimes I like look at Disney's like marketing plans and I'm like, okay, like when we were talking about the Thunderbolts, it's not just that that's been missteps. There's been missteps all over the place in their marketing. Um, and I'm just like, I'm trying to fail to see like what like for me, that's the average person that's not a comic book reader, but I love a good movie, good action with a good plot. What are you going to do to get me? Because I could tell you right now, Disney doing a new Tron movie, super excited. Finding out that Jared Leto's in it, I was like, ah. Every time I see, and Steven, you could back me up. Every time I see him playing the Joker with the grill, and I'm like, that's not the Joker,
It's
you know?
yeah, for me it's I see Michael Morbius every time I see him. I see the like he and then he morbs all over. That's and he's even in one of my favorite he might be in my favorite movie of all time, Blade Runner 2045. I love that movie. And he's in it, but the only reason why he's good in it is because he's not playing a character, he's just kind of playing himself, a weird
Right.
culty jerk.
When I saw the trailer for the new Tron movie and they showed him, I'm like, ah, we're screwed. And I think the reviews are talking. Now my son wants to see it. He loves the last Tron movie. to me was an amazing film. And then you bring Jeff Bridges back. The kids even watched the original Tron, and they were like, "This is so cool." Um, but yeah, like I guess there's these missteps they're doing. Um, I know at one point Kevin Feige's like, "Look, we're gonna start pulling stuff back. We're gonna kind of like regroup things." But like there were shows I really liked. I liked She-Hulk. I know a lot of people didn't like it.
I like She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I haven't watched any of the new seasons of Daredevil, but I liked it when it was on Netflix. I loved Punisher. I guess I just want to like I saw the new trailer for Wonder Man and I'm just like, I get it. They're just what they're trying to do with it. And I'm just like, I'm just kind of confused. Wasn't that Black Manta? And now he wants to play Wonder Man. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to find out like what their steps are here and what their next plan is because my son who's older with adult money, Alex, you know this, he goes to movies all the time, right?
Mhm.
So he went to go see Superman and Fantastic Four, and he goes, Fantastic Four was okay. And I won't do spoilers of it in case you guys haven't seen it. I know I haven't. But then he's like, Superman was just so good. It was hard walking into Fantastic Four, to see it like a couple days later or weeks later and go, okay, so his standards, like he said, my standard was set so high. Now, for the record, he also went to go see Demon Slayer in the theater. That beat everything. So
Demon Slayer was really good.
yeah,
It was.
yeah. So like I guess that's just my rant there. Um I still love Marvel movies, but if I go to watch one, it's gonna be either Iron Man 3 or it's gonna be Endgame. I think I've watched Endgame like 20 times, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's I. You mentioned the Daredevil Born Again, which I had forgotten about. And
Mhm.
ostensibly, I really like Daredevil. Like
Yeah.
Daredevil is in. Wait, well, I guess Elektra is in the run of Thunderbolts that I've read, and like Daredevil's a cool character. I loved the Netflix Daredevil because it did a thing that I like, which is it is so much of it is just shot um like a kind of like mid 2000s martial arts movie where it just takes everything very seriously. It has those long lingering shots for the action. The hallway, the hallway scene or the
Oh yeah.
stairwell scene is one of the best, might be the best shot action sequence outside of maybe the elevator scene in Captain America. That's not Civil War. That's which one is that?
Is that Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I like that action scene's so good, and uh, yeah, but I just couldn't bring or I just didn't have an interest in watching Daredevil because again, I didn't see anything out of it out that wasn't just it's Daredevil and he's gonna
Mhm.
be slightly more swashbuckly, which is a thing that ostensibly I like, but there was no draw.
Mhm.
I feel like I still like Marvel movies. I liked Fantastic Four. It was not as good as Superman, but I still liked it. I thought it was good. Um, but that movie at least took the time to sell to be, hey, there's a there's a thing here and it's gonna be good. Do you want to go see this kind of like cool Art Deco setting? And do you want to go see kind of like Silver Agey characters? Which yes, I would love all of that. That sounds great. I'm in. Um, but it just didn't, it. But like but Thunderbolts, like and like Daredevil, like there wasn't any attempt at trying to sell something beyond just look, it's the character, come see it. Come see the schlock idiot.
Yeah.
Because Disney does personally call me an idiot all the time.
Yeah. Well,
They do.
and I think the funny part is now, and we mentioned this before, like with I don't want to like I don't want this about DC, but now that James Gunn's at the helm and we have a new Superman, we have a new Justice League. My next interest
Justice
is like
Gang.
Justin. They didn't vote on it.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
such a good joke.
but like the other thing is like okay, so they've already said that Robert Pattinson's Batman is different, right?
Yep.
I love the Penguin show. I don't know if anyone else has watched it.
I
I
haven't.
need to watch it. I know I'll like it.
It's so dark. But like I'm interested of like, okay, so now that we've got this, he's setting it up. Who's gonna be Batman? Or that's to me is there. Like with the Marvel stuff, yes, am I gonna go see the new Avengers when it comes out? I'll probably go see it. But like I guess that hype of like where I used to be with stuff from Marvel isn't there.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, we I literally almost bawled in Avengers Endgame in the theater, right? And we went like weeks later, and the theater was still packed. And there's like people screaming and stuff during the movie. I was like, this is what I want from a movie, like this excitement. And then you go see something later, and you're like, there's nobody here, no one's as excited. I just that's my thing is like, where's the excitement now? You know?
It's nowhere. There is no excitement because everything gets spoiled online, or you just have way too huge of expectations for things that you can never be excited again, unless you're Demon Slayer.
Unless you're Demon Slayer, in which case it delivered somehow.
Yeah,
Somehow,
yeah.
yeah, somehow Palpatine has returned. Like, yeah, it was very good. Yeah, Demon Slayer was excellent. I have gripes with it, but like, it's still was a great film. But yeah, with Marvel and DC and all of this, I do want to state a couple things here first. Yeah, I haven't seen the Fantastic Four movie. I probably will eventually. um I feel like that those trailers did try to tell me something, but then I also heard after the fact that there are like, it seems like there was like quite, not necessarily a lot, but it seemed like there was enough cut out of the film where they're like, hopefully they do like a director's cut and then you can just watch that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've heard, where it's just like there's certain beats where like it builds and then it kind of skips like a little bit. And so that's what I've heard. And so like I didn't really like have a need to watch it immediately. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll wait for something like that. And then they came out and said, nope, there's never going to be a director's cut. Don't hold your breath. And so I was like, all right, fine. Well, I guess I'll watch this eventually then. Like, this normally when I watch these kind of films, I watch them like in December or something like that. But yeah, I'll watch it eventually. Um and then with the DC stuff with James Gunn, like we've talked about this in our last episode and stuff like that when we talked about Superman film, getting off of that. And then Peacemaker is now done, season 2 of that. I tried Peacemaker season 1 since we did that episode, and I hated it. I tried the first episode and I hated it. I thought it was really stupid, profane, and not like entertaining. Like, there were maybe a couple jokes, but nothing like actually made me like laugh out loud. And I feel like that's kind of like the vibe that it was trying to go for. And so like maybe it would build up later and get good, but I just didn't. I didn't enjoy my time enough with that first episode of Peacemaker season 1. I was like, you're not worth my time. But if season 2 had other things that were actually important, maybe I would like either spark like watch the was it Spark Notes? Wow.
Spark
Watch
Notes.
yeah, Sparks Notes it. I would watch the like clips or like read stuff about it so I could be prepared for the next James Gunn films. Supergirl is next year and all of that. But yeah, I've heard like now that Peacemaker season 2 is done, there are no plans for a Peacemaker season 3, which is probably the good call to do. So you can focus on like your actual people instead of, I don't know, making John Cena be a character that no one really cares about, but you like seeing John Cena. So
I think that's what I think the reason I like that show so much is because he really thought of himself as like a hero, right? Um, and he still from the Suicide Squad, the movie, he still had some trauma of what he did, and but he always would argue with his neighbor and little things, and his dad was like a super bad racist. So like it was crazy because it's like he just wants to try and do good, and he wants people to like him, and he doesn't have friends except for one guy who's more of a stalker, uh, an unhealthy stalker. I think that's why I thought it was good and funny because, like, even with all this stuff going on, he did save the world. Spoilers, but like what I like about him is he's not like you couldn't take him and if he was a real superhero and superheroes were real, you couldn't take your kids to meet this guy. He's not Superman at all. But like I think I like him because he really does try. And it's like it kind of reminds me of like the one kid in school that everyone is like, oh, don't play with him. That's what Peacemaker kind of reminds me of. And if you get that idea, then it's pretty funny. Not that kids not getting played with at school is funny, but uh, so I get your point there. I think if you get past those first couple episodes, you're like, okay, it's starting to grow on me.
Sure,
But
but at the same time, if an hour-long episode doesn't grab me, then it's not worth my time, in my opinion. If it was like 20 minutes or something like that, then maybe. But like the way, like there was a clear start and stop with that first episode, and I just don't have the patience to watch anymore. But like you said, though, like how you're describing Peacemaker and stuff, that's kind of describing the new how Guy Gardner is acting
yeah,
um in uh in these new films and stuff. And so yeah, retire Peacemaker, just have Guy be our cynical loser fun guy, and just have him instead, because clearly like he's doing better. So
yeah, he was a great character in Superman. Um, you know, and it's funny because now I'm trying to in my mind trying to think of Marvel characters that are that good in like the only thing I can think of is Tony Stark. I feel like Tony Stark
Yep.
has always been Robert Downey Jr. is an amazing actor. Uh I just what's crazy about him is he went from like not doing a whole lot and then blowing up and now he does like he's Iron Man number one. He's also Sherlock Holmes. Uh I was so
keep
upset that we
forgetting
never
that.
got a third.
Yeah.
I wish there was a third one of those because those films are so good. Again, Guy Ritchie. Sorry, I like Guy Ritchie. Uh,
Just go watch some
but like,
Detective Conan. It's fine. Same thing.
I mean, yeah. But like,
Or House.
Yeah.
yeah. But I do like his character, but he's no longer there. He is gone from this universe, and but he's gonna be Doctor
Yep.
Doom. Um,
I will say
I'm
that is the
still,
thing that I'm genuinely excited about. Partly because Doom is the best villain.
Mhm.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Second, because yeah, because we get the actor who is who kind of defined the tone of the Marvel Cinematic Universe originally, who
yeah,
with the kind of like sly fun like we're going to be cracking like actual jokes in our action movie, which isn't. I remember watching a lot of action movies in the like that kind of like range of the 2000s.
Hmm.
Um, I there is a movie called Street Kings. It had Keanu Reeves as a cop, and it was this kind of like slightly thrillery action movie. And it was dour. It was very self serious, and it sucked. Um, and the more like when I think about a lot of action movies from that time frame, it's either that or they're trying to kind of like be the Fast and the Furious, where like the jokes are trying to be sexy and cool, instead of being just a joke because it's kind of funny, uh,
Hmm.
and being kind of a smarmy jerk is funny.
Yeah. So like having the difference there, yeah, seeing our boy Tony Stark not be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested as well. That is a thing that's might get me to see it in theaters, but at the same time, like, and that's what they're hoping for, right? Like, clearly stuff isn't working, so they're like, hey, we got Robert Downey Jr. back. You wanna come over here and get some popcorn and come watch a movie? Um, so like it's gonna work. It's gonna work for a lot of people.
Mhm.
My concern with the movie, and it's two movies. But my concern with the first one, at least, is we're gonna see if they see him, like if our Avengers, if our people are gonna see them, we're gonna deal with, the whoa, it's Tony. Tony, why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. I don't want that to happen. Like I like we know that he looks like Tony. That could be like a thing that maybe like two people can see, but like I'm hoping for most of it, Doom just has his mask on. He just is playing Doom. If someone who was close to Tony at one point does get to see him without a mask, like that can be a dramatic moment. But I don't think we need to see like a whole like, oh, Thor's here. This was my friend. Why is my friend not acting correct? Like why is he being like? I don't want to see that. I I don't
It's
think
gonna
anyone
happen.
wants to see that, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah. There's
It's gonna
one
happen.
character reaction that I think is earned for that, and
Mhm.
that would feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Partly
Oh yeah,
because
Mr.
yeah, and that's
Stark.
the only one that I want.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I tried watching I tried watching the one before Endgame with the kids, and when everyone starts disappearing, that whole thing with Spider-Man, my 7-year-old goes, "Where's he going? Where's he going?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I have just ruined. Someone's gonna need therapy after this." So then I was like, this is like earlier morning. I was like, listen, they all come back. We're gonna watch Endgame after this. They all come back, okay? Like everyone's back. He's like I feel like I traumatized my children because that whole scene with him and Tony was like a father figure. But that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen there. Now, here's what I really want to have happen. Okay. I want that whole scene to happen, and Deadpool's there, and he makes some smart aleck comment that
Well,
goes
because he
along with
talks
it.
about the cable. He's like, "Listen, Thanos." I thought
Yeah.
that was the like one of the best lines of Deadpool 2.
To the point of like characters drawing me into a movie. The only one, the one that I can for certain say will do that is Deadpool. Is Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like Ryan Reynolds gets a lot of flack for not acting because he just kind of is himself at a
Mm-hmm.
camera. But I've never hated that because if you're good, if you have, if you can slot yourself into that movie and it makes sense, and since he's one of he is my favorite comic book character, it works out great.
Yeah.
And I will say this, that Deadpool Wolverine really got people more interested in Marvel. Um, because the whole thing, first off, they got Hugh Jackman to come back, who said he didn't want to do it. And I remember the one ad where it's Ryan Reynolds sitting on a couch and he's like, "You guys asked for it, so here it is." He goes, "Hey Hugh, you want to do a movie with me? And you can play Wolverine." And Hugh Jackman walks by with a cup and goes, "Sure, why not, Ryan?" Like, and that's the start. And that movie to me was so well done. And it's not just like Deadpool and his jokes, but like there's a scene where with Logan and X, and that just the pure acting that Hugh Jackman did in there. Deadpool is Deadpool. I mean, right? But like Hugh Jackman pulled out some serious acting chops for several, and he was dealing with death. And so um but yeah, like I'm really hoping that they're both. I don't remember, there were so many chairs on that trailer, right? I don't know if Hugh Jackman was there, but I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds was there.
I
I
don't
thought I saw Hugh Jackman.
I don't remember what all they showed. The one thing I know about the new movies is that I believe it got rewritten because originally Reed Richards was supposed to have more of a major role, but because Pedro Pascal is Pedro, he's doing so many movies and stuff, his role got written like a lot smaller, like it's more of a minor role, which is unfortunate because if we're going to have Doom, like we should have
Yeah.
Reed a little more. But like I
Yeah.
get it, unfortunately, like that's just the way of popular actors being popular. But it's a shame that it's affecting. You'd think that Marvel could, or Disney could, like be like, hey, here's a extra 10 million if you just cancel your film right now. Like
I
there's stuff like that where I'm shocked like they didn't pull something like that. But
Yeah. If you give them Dev Patel instead, we'll give you an extra $50 million.
yeah.
Listen, I love Dev Patel. Yeah, uh,
yeah.
I love The Green Knight. Wonderful movie.
Hmm.
Loved it to death. I want to see him more things, but
Yeah.
I digress. Um,
I wonder what their budget is just for the actors and actresses.
The answer is too much. It's mostly
It,
probably Robert Downey Jr. I bet he's getting
I
paid
want
a
to
lot because he's holding this movie afloat.
I want to say there's probably and this is just me guessing, and I'm probably way high. I want to say like between 200 and 250 million. And I know I'm probably really high, but I know like Robert Downey Jr. is like 50, 60 mil, bam, and Chris Evans is in it. And so I don't know. I don't know. Like I I I'm going in with like high expectations of this film. And I'm like, okay, so we're getting Avengers. So far, the Avengers films have been great for me. So let's go into it there. I just, man, I really need it to be good because, I can't keep watching Deadpool Wolverine. I think I've
yeah.
watched it like 7 times.
Yeah,
So
just go watch I don't know. Go watch something different. Go watch 90s Spider-Man. Go That's on Disney
I
Plus.
mean, it's on there. I
Hear,
mean,
hear him yell
it,
at Shocker. Shocker.
I will say that I don't think we brought up Hawkeye. I liked Hawkeye. I thought that was
I liked Hawkeye too, actually.
Yeah.
I did. I guess that is so. That does remind me of a whole thing,
Mhm.
and that is, uh, I felt like kind of right after Endgame, there seemed to be these kind of like stratification of the universe where you would have, you got like Eternals, which was not good, but like whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to when I saw it, so like whatever. And then you got the Spider-Man Far From Home, which I thought was good. And I remember like that theater experience was awesome. Having
Yeah.
with the people genuinely cheering, Tobey Maguire and people genuinely cheering Andrew Garfield. Like that was really fun. That was a pretty good movie. I'm worried that if I rewatch it, it's not going to hold up as much as I remember it. But
It doesn't.
boo.
I'm
But I did
freezing.
really like it.
My computer's
Yeah, you are.
freezing.
Oh no.
My computer, all my screens just went black and then came back.
Hey, you're back though.
Did you
Yeah.
install more RAM?
Yeah, maybe. No, I have not. It's I'm pretty sure it's OBS. I need to update OBS because I've noticed that it's been doing this only whenever I have OBS open. So
I kind of want to jump off what he said, Steven said as well. Um, you know, the first time I watched that new Spider-Man, I was like, this is awesome, right? The second, third time, I'm like, but I will say this. So Tobey Maguire gets a lot of crap for being like kind of rude in real life. Every time I see him on film, though, I'm like, he's so nice here.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're paparazzi and he's trying to drive away, then he's not so nice. But like, I do like the Spider-Man character. And I know he's got a new movie as well. So
Yep.
now I'm going to call it on the podcast now that we will get a trailer, like a teaser for this new Avengers film. I'm going to guess at the Super Bowl. We're going to get a teaser because it comes out next year, right? So I'm guessing at the Super Bowl, we're going to see a teaser, at least a teaser of this movie. It may not be anything crazy. I mean, obviously it won't be like Civil War where, the big Civil War and they're like, oh my God, Spider-Man's in it. But I think it'll be something like, hey, and Disney's got the money, so they're going to throw it out there. Now, with the rest of the marketing team that has come up with these great ideas on their other products, I think they should be fired like Dallas Cowboys coach. Like I think he did get fired. We're dating ourselves, but like I do think like marketing wise, like I know you brought up the list for New York Comic Con. I would be interested to see what they've announced that's we don't know about or anything that's new. I mean, where's that Into the Spider-Verse second movie? Where's that at?
they're recording as far as I know, but Haley Steinfeld has to record in a different time and different location from whatever Miles is because he was being a creeper.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it
Uh,
was, but I remember him saying something like, um, I don't. He basically wrote like a tweet that was clearly about her because like she announced like her
Yep.
engagement or something, and he was basically like, "Could have been me" or something like that, something to that effect. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on, man, what are you doing? Because like I think he also like quote tweeted, or he was referencing how every Spider-Man ends up dating like their love interest from the movies, and so he was kind of mad that that didn't happen. And it's like, why are you expecting this?
Yeah. It's yeah. I've also heard. I had a yeah. Uh, I had a nice conversation with a friend of mine who also has another podcast where he talks about movies specifically. But he, we were talking. He was telling me, like, having kind of been tuned into the Sony production for that, um, that I can't remember the name of the directors for that movie, but they are tyrants. They're very good, but they're tyrants, and they're kind of nuts.
Mhm.
So it's been hit with these kind of production delays by way of them just kind of coming in, having a panic attack, and then scrapping half of the script, rewriting it, and then having to reanimate that entire section again.
Just imagine
Which is
if we
why,
could see some of those like animatics of the things that never happen.
yeah, because like because my yeah, it does seem like the end product has been 2 for 2 excellent,
Mm-hmm.
but without but yeah, I guess if you're the animator making it, like you can be proud of that, but you're also there were probably some of your worst working days ever.
Imagine that they actually animate all of this. And remember how in the theaters there were like 2 different versions of Across the Spider-Verse? Like there are like 2 different ways. There's just like 5 different versions of this movie, but more so like drift apart. That'd be hilarious.
That would be very funny.
I think though because like they wanted people to go to different theaters to see it, but I think that part about being greedy nowadays, they probably won't, because if nowadays if you're a greedy company, and you do stuff like this, people just won't go see it. Like or I'll give an example. Like, this is older news at this point, but when Xbox raised their Ultimate to $30, they saw a huge dip in their stocks, and they saw a huge dip in people dropping. And so
Mhm.
I think they're like, crap, man, people actually care. Will pay with they'll vote with their wallets. So I don't know. I just remember that movie came out a longer time ago, and here we are. We've
Yeah.
had 2 Venom movies in that time frame.
I still haven't seen any of those Venom movies at all. I own the first 2.
I maintain that the second Venom movie has a very, very fun watch, like way to watch it.
Mhm.
And it is the same way that the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie is a fun way to watch, and that is completely as a gay allegory.
I
All right.
mean, I've watched the first one. I liked the first one. Second one, I was like, eh. And I haven't watched the third one yet.
Yep.
I don't know why. I like the guy that plays Venom. I think I just watched him in a what was it? He's on a show with Pierce Brosnan, and he plays a gangster. He plays a fixer. That is the role that I love him in. But like him playing Eddie, I'm like, oh, it's still
You said it wrong, by the way. It's Eddie. That's all I
there's
know.
that, yes. Um but like it's been sitting in my thing for Netflix forever, and I've not watched it.
Yeah.
And I gotta watch it because it's like the last one for now.
No, I think they're done. Didn't they officially kill off the Spider-Man Sony, like whatever that was, Sinister Six universe? I thought they killed off all of those side things like Morbius and Venom and all of that. I think they officially said like we're done. I mean, that doesn't mean they're done, but like with that,
Right.
like
Oh,
they're done.
Madam Web was everybody watched.
I did watch
It was
Madam Web. I did
good.
go see that in theaters on
If I
purpose.
had had a if because I watched a lot of bad movies when I had AMC A list
Mm-hmm.
for as long as I did. Because it's really easy to be like, I'll go to this for free, spend a couple hours and watch something I know is garbage. That's why I watched Morbius twice. Um,
That's awesome.
uh,
Yeah. I saw it like at a matinee or something. I saw it with a friend, and there were only 3 of us in the theater. It was my friend and myself sitting like in the middle, and then there's a guy like a little further from us. But that guy was like legitimately invested in the film. Like he wasn't laughing like we were. Like he was enjoying the film apparently as it was like supposed to be enjoyed, like as like a thriller or whatever. And my friend are
more.
just laughing at like the ADR direction and just the delivery of lines, the Pepsi everywhere where she just keeps trying to open the Pepsi and she never opens the Pepsi. Um I
Yeah.
that film is something. If no one's watched Madam Web, like, granted, yes, I just gave a lot of crap about what was it, Peacemaker,
Yeah.
season 1, episode 1, where I'm like, this is a waste of time, didn't make me laugh. Madam Web is a waste of time, but it's a fun waste of time.
I haven't seen the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life in theater was House of the Dead. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. So like this is the only time I've ever seen people walk legitimately out of the theater, like during the movie. And we're like 20 minutes in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all these people are getting up and walking out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I gotta finish it because I gotta know what happens. And when they do the whole scene where all these people are trapped on an island, and all of a sudden they either know kung fu or they all know how to use assault weapons or guns, and they do the stop where they do the stop and they do the 360 for like 20 minutes. I'm like, and I know this guy is like, he's like, oh, if you don't like me, you can come fight me. I'm not saying I want to fight you. I'm just saying, like, I'm glad you're not doing movies anymore because this was
I,
pretty awful.
well, they were all like tax scams in Germany, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
Ebola was.
But like I've never watched Madam Web. I don't even have a care to. I
Yeah,
didn't watch Morbius, but
Yeah,
my son said it was like, he goes, it is pretty entertaining. So
I think out of the two, I feel like Madam Web is more entertaining. But granted, I didn't see Morbius.
I, I will say I have walked out of one theater, ever
Mm-hmm.
myself, and I was watching the 2019 remake of Black Christmas. Uh, it was just I walked out of the theater because I was there, and the person I was there with, I was like counting down jump scares,
Mm-hmm.
and had I had like a 95% accuracy rate. I missed one.
Yeah.
uh, And yeah, I realized that was the only entertainment I was getting out of that movie, ruining jump scares for the person I was there with. So we left.
yeah, I like horror movies. Do I think they need to keep remaking them like
Yeah,
Scream and oh my gosh. And they just did like I think it's already out. Like I think they did our I Know What You Did Last Summer. They did a remake of it, I think over the summer.
weird.
I mean, it had Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt were in it.
Yeah,
And so I don't even remember this coming out this summer.
I
It's
don't.
already streaming on a service. And I'm like, it showed up and I'm like, okay, so I didn't even remember this was done, but it's out. Um, I haven't gone the last, this is so bad. The last movie I went to go see in the theaters was the new Indiana Jones and then the new Transformers, the Beast War one. That was the last time I was in the theater. That's sad.
Yeah, Demon Slayer for me. And that was
same for
very
me.
recently.
And I've got tickets to go see Chainsaw Man because I deeply love Chainsaw Man.
I've never seen it.
It's in my queue
That's
to
true. Yeah,
watch.
you have Crunchyroll. We talked about on an episode.
No, I have Crunchyroll because I did the free like 5 days or whatever, and I just never remember to cancel it. So that's what I have.
That yeah,
Um,
Now you'll have it for
and
life because it's only $7.
I did cancel my my PC Game Pass, so now I have the money for it. So it's cheaper
I
than Game Pass.
I have closing thoughts on Marvel too, for what it's worth, or
Yeah.
at least other thoughts on Marvel.
Yeah.
Before we get distracted by movies,
That's true.
by other movies of similar, better, or worse qualities.
Yeah.
I've heard the conversation around Marvel in the past, that it is that it is kind of a movie, like a genre bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, the comparison is usually westerns.
Mm-hmm.
Where westerns went through a very noticeable trend with the movies, where you have the kind of classic westerns that were, these very Hays Code movies, good guy, white hat, bad guy, black hat. They were pretty formulaic, and they were all just rip-offs of better Kurosawa movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get, and when those started to kind of die because that formula stopped being good. You then got the kind of spaghetti western, the twist, the darker westerns, your the good, the bad, and the ugly, like a lot of your Eastwood westerns. And I think, and those are the ones that I think people think of now as westerns, because those were the ones that were flipping the script of the genre on their head and doing this really effective method at telling these stories while having this kind of grit to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are roughly in that era of spaghetti western now. Because like The Boys has been going on for long enough.
Yeah.
That's and Invincible. Invincible is less of kind of a like reversal of the classic superhero story, where it like pretends to be one but it's not actually, even though the author is the original author for the comic is thinks that Omni-Man would beat up Superman. He would not.
Definitely not.
And then, and you have and The Boys, which I there's a book series called The Reckoners that has functionally the same like idea of The Boys, where these superheroes are bad, we're just gonna go murder them. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Love that premise. It's great. But a big part of the problem is that I think the appetites for these movies are a little different. Like Deadpool's work a little better now, because they are presenting themselves as this kind of inverse to the formula, of you have this kind of like positive story arc. Person starts a little low, overcomes adversity, kind of gets knocked back, comes back swinging and wins. And that's that, like, in very broad terms, that's kind of the formula you've seen. Even on the really good ones, like Captain America Winter Soldier, like any of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but a big part of the issue is that there's Disney as kind of a conglomerate is so bad at changing an approach effectively. So Disney has been making white hat, black hat westerns for a while now, and hasn't deviated enough from that script to be able to make things that are going to resonate with audiences and still be good. Because I do think that, like, James Gunn made made a white hat western, but he also kind of went into it with a more honesty than I feel like a lot of Disney projects tend to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that having not having like that not having that sort of honesty in storytelling, or desire to make something that is outside of recognition alone, is where a lot of those things fail. Because they tried selling Thunderbolts on recognition alone. I think they tried selling Fantastic Four on recognition plus, like, look at this kind of weird alternate timeline thing.
Yeah.
And and versus Deadpool and Wolverine, it sold it on the recognition, but it sold it on the recognition that included a joke that had the foundation laid for the last, like, what, the first X-Men came out in 2002, 2001. Like, it had 23 years of of prep time for that joke to land. So, like, people kind of know it. Movies, by their very nature will change and be different as time goes on. People want to see different things. People, preferences will change. And it's being able to have that big of a timeline and have that work, and then have that work again, where tastes have changed at least a little bit. I'm going to blame COVID a smidge because I think COVID also
Yeah.
soured everybody quickly
Yeah.
on a lot of it. Just not having, not having sort of any sort of adaptability to be able to make that work, to try to find some genuine attempt at storytelling to make that function for the through line, or doing the alternative, which is admittedly a thing I had hoped they would do from the beginning, or just find a bunch of directors like James Gunn. Like, I was so excited at first for the second Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness,
Mm-hmm.
when it was going to be directed by Raimi,
Yeah.
because I've mentioned horror movies multiple times. Like, I obviously like them at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like the idea of him, kind of directing this kind of horror-y Doctor Strange movie.
Mm-hmm.
And either trying to make good movies in a vacuum, or trying to really hone in on a storyline that doesn't, and not get kind of sidetracked by the fact that your major actor abused his wife and went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do agree with a lot of what you're saying for sure. I've had this theory for a while. Like, I mean, kind of like you said, like COVID did kind of sour things.
Yeah.
But I feel as well. I've thought about this recently with other movies and stuff, but the movie theater experience is more hyped, I would say. You tend to go out of a theater enjoying a movie more than if you just watch it at home. And so with that, yes, Wonder Woman 84, is that what it was? I think, but like that movie wasn't super great, I renounce my wish, whatever. But like that movie, I feel like would have been around more in the zeitgeist, but then also people might have enjoyed it or act like they enjoyed it a little more if it did come out in theaters, like instead of just direct to whatever, because people have short attention spans. People are looking at their phones. Like the movie theater is a place where like there are rules and standards to where, all right, you got to pay attention to this movie now, and people don't have the self-discipline to do that anymore. So I feel like a lot of people are also just not enjoying films because they're just watching them at home and not paying attention.
Yeah, I agree with you guys both. I mean, if I watch a movie here, you know what's going to happen? Gotta let the dogs out. Someone has a question. Kids come down. Kids wake up. I have to pause it. Now, I will say when I watch Thunderbolts, I watch with my oldest son. We got to watch the whole movie in uninterrupted, which is rare. Also, when you go to the movie theater, I mean, you go, it's not on a matinee. You're going to spend, you know, $20, $30 or whatever, and then you buy snacks. At that point, you're invested because you've spent the money, right? I prefer to go to the movie theater than watch it here. Um, Now, COVID really did kind of turn me into watching more here in my house. Um, and I will tell you, like in the winter, when it's like really nasty outside, uh, I love to start the fireplace and watch movies and just relax. That's my go-to. But something about going to the theater, and you're right, there are the rules where you can't be on your phone. You cannot, the interruptions are there. I think that I also like, Stephen, I loved your analogy about the old westerns because I never really thought about it that. And the more that is like a very good thought on that. Will Marvel come back and do it? And it's not just Marvel. I think it's just, I feel like Marvel is a good idea of where they want to go with stuff. It's the top executives that are making these decisions that are like, hey, this is a really good idea. Have you ever read a comic or known who these characters are? no, but my nephew really likes this character, so let's do this. Or and I'm probably exaggerating, but sometimes I feel like you get these older executives that don't know pop culture. And then here we go. Then we
It's like
we, we
Lionsgate trying to make a Naruto movie for the longest time. It's like, oh no, don't touch that.
no. Um, but I do feel like one thing that Disney has been repeatedly good at as being a low point, and then something happens, and then bam, they just shoot straight up. They have been the underdog since Walt Disney himself created it. And if you'll watch, because if you look right now, their animated movies aren't the
Yeah.
last one that came out. Um, and they make these movies so kids watch them over and over again. The last one that came out, my kids watched it once. That's it.
Was that Wish?
It No, it's like the Elio or whatever,
Oh yeah,
where he
yeah,
gets abducted.
yeah. The
I-
Pixar.
I'll say it wasn't very good. I love Disney like classic. This was not good.
Mhm.
It was like boring. And so but Disney has proven through recessions, through COVID, whatever, they're gonna come back in a big way. Cause look, if you look at their movies, they were not on a good spike before Deadpool Wolverine came out. Probably one of the highest grossing films in that year, if not probably one of their highest grossing Marvel films besides Endgame. So I feel like the good news is they've listened and they've pulled back instead of doing like 30,000 projects a year. There, the only thing I have a gripe with is I know Disney pulls quicker on video game stuff. That is a gripe for me for another podcast, because I feel like they have these great ideas for games and then they just pull the plug. Or you just never hear it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're really bad about that.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess with all this that we've talked about, like again, I do agree with you, Steven, with all what you're saying. Like, yeah, there are different tastes and stuff, but I also feel like the environment, and you kind of alluded to that too, has definitely changed. Not necessarily the taste, but just the way that people ingest media. And so, like, they probably would have enjoyed a lot of these films 10 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever, but because like we just watch things and we just have way shorter attention spans because of our TikToks and our Instagram reels and all that other stuff. Like we're just brain rot. So
Yeah.
I think that's just
Still brain
it's
rot.
another we're all brain rot, yeah, right? Skibbity toilet and whatever you call it.
67, I think, is the new one. I had to Google it.
Six,
I don't have to.
seven.
I
Yeah.
don't have to Google those very often. I had to Google that one.
Yeah, it's 6-7 specifically. But
See,
yeah,
I didn't know.
I only know it because a guy who I watch on
Because
YouTube has a channel now where he says too old for it. So he just goes over like all these like random things and he's like, let's see if I can understand this. But no, we had good discussions here.
Yeah.
I appreciate you again, Stephen, for being here with us.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And I feel like the video will probably be okay, but there'll be a tiny bit missing. I think I figured out what it was though. I had a OBS vertical thing, and once I closed that, my computer's been fine. So I think it was like a plugin that was just messing up my whole computer for OBS. So now we'll do it. And so
Yep.
now I think we should be good now. But yeah, thanks so much everyone for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, this was a holiday episode. So if you're trying to see us talk about, oh no, man, Mother 3 got announced. You know what? Too bad we're not here. We
I
can't
can
talk
see the
about it.
hope. I
Oh
can
man,
see it.
I want Mother 3 so bad. Do it. Give it to me. But yeah, we can't talk about anything current. We won't be back until mid January, I would say. And then we plan on doing some special thing there. We plan on doing like another live stream how we normally do at the beginning of the year. And yeah, we'll hang out, we'll do all that stuff here. But I always forget. I don't even know. Steven, you briefly knew this, but at the end of the podcast, we always say blah 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 blah. Get at it, get at it, get at it. So, Ben, Do you have anything else to say to the audience?
Just to get at it.
Get at it.
Get at it.